Welcome back. Chicken traders who are locked in a dispute with the government over delivery arrangements come up with a compromise over the use of the Takuling checkpoint. Stephanie Choi reports.
Some chicken traders who are concerned that the dispatching of local live chickens at the Takuling checkpoint would increase costs have decided to suspend the supply of live birds until the Chengsha-wan temporary wholesale poultry market reopens. One reason for the traders' concern is the government's ban on the unloading of live chickens from the checkpoint before they are sent to retail outlets. During a meeting with officials from the Agriculture, Fisheries and Conservation Department, representatives of the New Territories Chicken Breeders Association offered a compromise.
Get cages from back to back from a van or a truck to another truck without letting the cages to place on the floor.
The association claims that the 210,000 live chickens that are now suitable for slaughter will be at risk of contracting disease if they're kept alive for too long. The group says 3,000 live chickens can be dispatched through the checkpoint next Wednesday at the earliest if the government adopts their suggestion. Regal Cheng of the Hong Kong Poultry Kame Chicken Development said he appreciates the government's willingness to let traders try out the suggestion of directly transferring live chickens from one truck to another. He said chicken breeders will call off a protest planned for tomorrow. But Secretary for Food and Health Ko Wing-man said even if both sides can agree on a certain arrangement, there will still be other factors to consider. These include, for example, the views of Takuling residents. Health officials will meet tomorrow to discuss the proposal, and a decision on poultry arrangements will be made in the next couple of days. Stephanie Choi, TVB News.
The Labor Department is still trying to contact those in charge of South Korean cosmetics company Misha, which yesterday closed its Hong Kong outlets. More than 20 Misha stores across the territory were shut down, and no one was working at the company's training center in Kwai Chung. A union group says about 20 Misha employees have sought help with the Labor Department. Most of them were involved with sales and office work. The department says it will provide assistance to affected staff if needed.
Turning now to the fight against Ebola, the outgoing chief of the United Nations anti-Ebola mission says the world can stamp out the outbreak in West Africa by the end of the year.
Is going to go on for not just weeks, but some months more. But I believe we will do it in 2015. I believe we'll end Ebola in 2015, and we're going to do it by working very closely, not just with the governments of the countries, but the communities.
Banbury says there are now enough functioning treatment centers in the region, but that more medical staff are needed in remote locations. The World Health Organization says more than 8,000 people have now died in the outbreak. A sex scandal continues to haunt Buckingham Palace over a lawsuit that alleges Prince Andrew had sex with several underage girls. One woman claims she was forced to have sex with the Duke of York while she was a minor.
A woman, identified only as Jane Doe No. 3, has joined a lawsuit claiming billionaire financier Jeffrey Epstein kept her as a sex slave between 1999 and 2002. She goes on to say that Epstein forced her to have sex with Prince Andrew in London, New York, and on a private Caribbean island as part of an orgy with numerous minors. Buckingham Palace quickly issued a statement saying any suggestions of impropriety by Prince Andrew is categorically untrue. This former royal press secretary says such an ugly issue forced royal officials to respond.
The palace really had no option whatsoever to say something. It was getting up ahead of steam, and quite frankly, what they would have done was sought legal advice. The legal advisors would have gone to the Duke of York to get cast-iron guarantees that he was not involved, and then they would have given their advice to release the statement.
The woman also alleges she had sex in multiple locations in the United States with Alan Dershowitz. He's a prominent attorney who represented Epstein in 2008 when several women claim they were victimized by the billionaire. Epstein was only given jail time on child sex charges. But his accusers were outraged when Dershowitz won a plea agreement that allowed Epstein to escape prosecution in federal court. They now claim federal prosecutors violated their rights as crime victims. The scandal has long embarrassed 54-year-old Prince Andrew, the second son of Queen Elizabeth II. The prince has since admitted fraternizing with Epstein was a mistake. Epstein is now a registered sex offender in the U.S. Despite being named in the sex scandal, no criminal charges have been filed against Prince Andrew.
About 450 migrants arrived safely at an Italian port yesterday after a perilous journey through the Mediterranean. Smugglers had sent the cargo ship Ezadeen speeding toward the coast in rough seas with no one in command. Italian authorities lowered engineers and electricians onto the ship by helicopter to secure it. The Icelandic Coast Guard then towed it to the port of Carigliano. Children and pregnant women were among the migrants, most of whom are believed to be from war-ravaged Syria. All right, Chris, nice to be back. What do you have for us?
Welcome back
Thank you.
from colder places, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, let's get going with some tennis. Andy Murray and Novak Djokovic will meet in the final of the World Tennis Championship in Abu Dhabi after both scored convincing wins yesterday. Murray made a statement with a comprehensive